there's only one more map to go for this elimination best of 3. And if you just saw the clips back then, I just noticed Bobski, he still had a career at that point. He was still playing. That's how long ago the last one was in 2019, before COVID hit, when there was no lands anymore after that. You know, he went to Astralis, sat on the bench for a while, and poor
back
kids.
in the good old days,
Yeah, good times. I mean, I'm
not now for him, is it?
I mean, it's just basically grabbing paychecks at this point.
It's tweeting away, mostly.
Oh, his tweets are banging. He's got humour for a day.
Oh yeah, well, all those things get deleted within the next 5 minutes, though, typically.
Oh, really?
Well, from what I notice.
Oh,
I'm sure like someone from his, the people that actually pay his salary.
The powers that be.
Probably going to be like, yeah, better you not saying that.
Stop memeing on us, you know?
Yeah.
We may be treating you like crap, but, you know, like, this is just part of it, isn't it? This is just like what you have to suffer with, mate. You signed your soul away to the devil, and this is where we are right now. In many ways.
Someone could call that the short end of the stick.
Is there something else then? Oh, we've fully lost it at this point, haven't we? It's really just gone downhill. We've got Overpass next as well, which is definitely going to be a very delayed one. We should talk a bit more of this Inferno, because let's just start with this. It wasn't just delayed in terms of the rounds and games. It was slow as you like coming out from the Polish side, which cost them round after round. Considering how close it was, they probably could have won if they went a bit faster. So let's take a look at some of these slow executes they were running, because over and over again, when you thought they might be able to pull their way back into this, they're just running down the clock, and we hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the viewers should be paying attention to two things. It's the time left and the amount of nades left. Only 2 smokes with 20 seconds on the clock left. They're behind a CT smoke as well. It's end up trying to go through. They're in an actual war there.
Yeah, shot his teammate.
Yeah.
Trust no one.
Trust no one.
Well, look, like as a big member, like this type of misery with the clock is like nothing new to me. Really, the problem is like with Fiend, you know, they always had like utility left towards the end of the round, which allowed them to really like just choke away those choke points from the attacker. And by the time they actually got somewhere where they had clear entrance, you know, it was like 30, 20 seconds to the round.
But the easy thing here, right, when you're looking at Fiend is, when they're running down the clock that far, if you get information on the other side of the map, you know exactly what's about to happen every single time. So for Fiend, these last rounds, when it was from like 12-10 onwards, was just like, cool, as long as we have an information play, as long as we have a poke down banana, we look at top mid, we know exactly where they're going to be and we'll be ready for it. Yeah, that truly is the case. And also, I mean, there was not many situations where Wisla had the man advantage going to the bomb site. And it's very, very hard for them to hold. And not even getting to the bomb site in any imaginable way. Another example there, the last round of the game. Yeah, I mean, that's basically for me one of the things that it says when you keep wearing down the clock and then you don't seem to have like a setup play thought out. It seems like a lot of them are at least half winging it. That's the nerves. Like you're in a situation, in pressure situation, and you're kind of letting the time dwindle away all the time, and then you don't have the answers anymore. No, and the point for me that really got like it's painful for them is that you are then basically giving the game away because you're thinking, oh, I'm one game away from actually being able to take this. I move on, you eliminate the other team, but then that pressure really started to kick in, and they just made bad decisions. Their executes became non-existent. And not just pressure. At this point, it's also becoming a stamina game, right? Yeah. When you're playing from home, obviously, you know, it's a bit more relaxed, but at LAN, the environment is so much more draining you. And when you reach this point, it's really about keeping your head in the game, because Inferno is Overpass is also like a super close map between the two. But the one who will come out on top is, you know, the one who can actually like stay focused. We saw a lot of chaos towards the end here, right, from both teams. So really, it just comes down to who is the one who can still remain in the game, keep his head in the game, remember the strat book, and just go through the plan. And they both have experience against each other on this map, right? 19-17 overtime game last time around on Overpass, and it was also a 16-13 score. Do we have a favourite in this, or is it just like all thrown up in the air and either one can take it? The factor that wasn't there then is ships, and ships on Overpass is something else. This guy finds a way. You said this to me a little bit ago. This didn't happen. No, on Overpass specifically. He'll just do the most random things, and somehow you find him in CT spawn as a T side behind everyone. So I'm gonna be interested to see if that's gonna be the case when he's playing for Fiend here. So you going with Fiend for this win?
Yeah, I would think so.
Jowlo?
Yeah, same as well. Like the casters like so aptly pointed out, Fiend had this pack mentality on the T side, and just using that to gain control, maybe at water, you know, the various parts of the map and overpass will be like crucial.
Well, we have a pack mentality, right? It's us three together eating burgers while these two starve. So let's go back to Dinko and Hawker, who didn't get to eat anything.
We're wasting away to nothing, James. There's nothing left of us. We were skinny to begin with, and now we're starved. This is £1 a month, and you will feed both of us, I'm sure. But you know, we're hoping into this matchup. And you know, it's late in the day. I seen the players out when I was trying to scavenge for food during the break, and managed to find some sandwiches. But on my way, I seen the players, and they're looking pretty focused up. I think, you know, the Wisla Kraków guys, they're trying to play this very strong T side where they're really thinking about every calculated move. That's not going to be so easy this late in the day.
Definitely, and I'm sure the desk is very excited to hear. I would say Overpass is the slowest map in the pool. That's what I would say. I'd expect the same from Wisla here, just slowly taking that map control.
Yeah.
But like you said, if one thing just goes wrong, the whole puzzle piece can easily fall apart.
So what you're saying is they're going to have a 3-course meal and a dessert as well during this one. So we're hopping into the knife round, and this, of course, we haven't got to see yet because we haven't had a best of 3. The third map, no one gets to choose the side. In fact, we have to knife it out and brawl it out like a prison yard shank up match. And while we find ourselves here at a situation where Team Fiend, I feel like coming into this one, they're going to be favorites now, Hawker. I just feel like they are going to favor this crazy style, that CT aggression is just going to catch maybe some of these players that have begun to sleep a little bit, maybe start to drop off their focus. One little second and you're going to get caught by some wild CT aggression. Natu was pointing out very poignantly the fact that Ships is going to be that aggressive player. He was doing that on Dust 2. This is the map I think he's going to have the most space on to play with on the CT side in particular, and the fact that he isn't even playing for his real team, you know, he's not playing for Skade right now, that takes the pressure off even more.
Yeah, we've seen him be freed up to make those aggressive plays. You know what I would love? Want someone to do at some point, Dinko, in that knife round, just randomly be that guy that just decides to run around the map for no reason. Like, it's an endurance best of 3. If you want to tilt your opponents, just waste loads of time in the knife round. I'm sure that'll tilt them. But
we do that in FaCe, actually.
Oh, exactly. It's
but
always a good
because
idea.
Harry isn't there, so...
That's true. Normally buying time for our teammates to get there. But everyone is here. You can see on the player cams, ready to get underway into Overpass. Fiend starting on that CT side, and Red Star playing as the solo A player, spots for early info, and instantly falls back.
I'm going to start walking their way through the connector.
Oh, this is great info for Fiend. They've pushed all the way through B into Monster. They'll start to rotate a player up, but remember, Wisla have their options open with Connector, so Fiend will have to make sure they keep players watching towards B short. But it looks like they are starting to commit to this A site now.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a straight up run in towards the A side, but as you said, that CT info was picked up early, so they know they can rotate the strong men towards the side of the map. Bomb site has been taken though. They're going to have to play retake. There is a kit alive on the back of Bubble.
Also a flash available for Bubble, which may be what they need to just burst into this site. He's got that in his hand right now, and as soon as that smoke fades, we might see this flash come through.
Yeah, Crossfire being held right now as well from the T's to try and shut them down as they come over the top of the stairs. It's working out here for Wisla Kraków. Fantastic start into the game here for them, and it's just one player left alone. It's Red Star. A big reason why we're even here on Overpass is because of Red Star in that previous map. This round unable to get much done, but we drop back to what he was able to do on those new box holds on Inferno. That was the decisive round, really. Red Star was the most impactful player towards the end of the game now for this Fiend side, and he had a fantastic Dust 2 as well. He was carrying them through. He's having a great series right now, and if Red Star can deliver that, that's, for me, the player I'm looking out for. You know, usually I talk about that 1-2 punch of Ships and Harn maybe coming in here, but I'm looking at Red Star to be the player to deliver.
Definitely has been the most impactful player, I would say. Even on the first map, obviously top frag like crazy, but a lot of the kills were impact kills. So definitely someone to keep watching as this series continues. We have got that classic second round force buy from Fiend as well in this one.
Yeah, of course, got the bomb plant here as well. So the T's buy is looking very good. And they've got those 3 Mac 10s, so they're wanting to pick up money with those. For the CT side, Fiend love a good force buy. You know, we've seen that a lot. And over on Inferno, we've seen a lot of these low buy round wins, and that's just part and parcel by the fact that we are so late in the day, and there is so much pressure on this, and we've been playing for so many hours that you will start to make the little mistakes that you usually would not overlook in a normal game. And we're here in the final map of the day. Overpass, as you pointed out to the desk earlier on, is the slowest map in the pool in terms of the amount of stuff you have to do on your T side. You have to be so meticulous and so methodical in your approaches to everything. There's a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot of margin for error, or no margin for error, really.
Yeah. I also like how Drowlon pointed out on the desk, just being at LAN is a completely different mindset and a completely different experience to playing from home, where it's a lot easier to just recharge and just quickly reset when you're at home. This is completely different. And
Fiend have played at LAN recently, right? They had the Intel Extreme Masters fall. Wisla Kraków haven't played LAN, you know, like this team have not really been around. So it is definitely more favored, I would say, towards Team Fiend in that respect.
He got close, goes uncleared for a long time, but finally PHR looks back. They get that kill with the MAC-10. At this point, Fiend locked out of the A site. Again, those same solid smokes deep into the site. Because they're gaining all that control towards bathrooms, they can line those up. And especially with the lack of utility and good weaponry to spray through the smokes, no option for Fiend but to go ahead and try and fight another day.
Yeah, all around. The resistance has come to an end in this one, but that's because they actually have some weapons to play with going into the next round. You know, if you went for the attempted retake, it's highly unlikely that you would be able to take control of the site again, and so you would just throw everything away. You would lose all of this Kevlar and SMGs and CZs that you've bought. So you definitely want to keep that into this round, at least have an attempt with 4 players. So I can see why this decision's been made. And they can try and do some damage to Wisla Kraków. Also, in particular, a little small note is the MAC-10s don't get all that money either, right? So if you can drop a couple of players here, their money won't really be too well built up.
Would be ideal if they could manage to pull that off. Definitely been impressed by Han so far in this series, and just in general with his online play. It's nice to see it here on LAN. We said earlier, he has already proven himself. That nade just hit his teammate right in the bum. We'll do a good 72 damage for that one to Goofy. Oh, and now the molly has hit the train. It's all going
It's a disaster. The train's not come at the right time. It's just like England.
It's either early or late. And if it's England, it's definitely late.
It just never appears. Here we are, Dreamer at Monster. Here comes the play on through. Yetko at the front of the charge. Sees that in with 1, and there's a team kill. Cannibalism here on the B side. And there's Goofy on Marcus action. As we now look at a 3 versus 3, a winnable round here for Team Fiend, and a possible nightmare coming in for Wisla Kraków. And this is exactly why you see Fiend save in the last round. They can play much more loose in this one. They can commit to the round win. And PHR and Goofy getting it done. Finding some important kills that have actually drawn them back into a winnable round. Again, it looks like it should be locked in. Han does that scout hand trying to go for some jump shots. Actually, PHR's 1 shot away, and he hits it, of course. Han with 1, and getting into the retake. Impossible on 5 HP, but does do damage on the way out. Drops Sparrow down to 19. 3 rounds in a row for Wisla Kraków, but Team Fiend the whole time was posing a threat. And in this round, here comes the guns.
Including an AWP for Han, someone who we were praising just previously. He just showed us a taste of what he can do with the scout. And we'll see if the sniper can make a big difference. Definitely feels like Han has had the edge over Marcos in terms of impact for the AWPers so far in this series.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. We have got Han playing up on this A side of the map. This can be an AWPer's paradise at times. There's so many angles you can choose to take in towards mid, with bathrooms.
You could say an AWPer's party.
You could. He's at the party right now, peeking all the way into mid. All the information available for him. This are trying a faster play.
This is explosive, and it's caught them off guard. Yet Karim with a double. Absolutely no problem. Bart's an object for him. And now a 5 versus 3. 2-man advantage in here for Wisla Kraków. They're going to put that bomb down on default. And for Fiend, this is the gun round that really should have gone better for them. But it's a safe call having to come in. They cannot throw their resources at this B retake attempt, knowing that they haven't even got a kill. I love that call from Wisla Kraków. And that was a criticism we had from Inferno, right? They weren't versatile enough in changing their pace. It was too predictable.
Really important that they have some of these faster rounds early. And on Overpass, you don't have as many options for those faster rounds. But it means you kind of almost forced to throw in a few B plays like that. Every now and then, just a fast B play through Monster. Even though Fiend had good information and had good awareness that it was probably going to be a B-sided push, they weren't ready for it so soon. Just 2 entries from the Edgar, all they need to win the round, and Han peeks out just as the time is about to expire. That's the AWP gone. He doesn't get to save it because he committed to trying to take the fight. That's a real shame for Fiend, because now the money isn't anywhere near as good. If you save that AWP, it's just a guaranteed fall buy in this round. Now it's not that good of a circumstance. It may actually have to be a half buy. I'm surprised Han peeked there.
Yeah, well, that's the decision making. You know when you're in a more relaxed, you've got more sleep under you, you're not as exhausted. Those are the decisions that don't come through. And so,
ouch.
You're gonna see a few more mistakes come in, and Red Star gets chunked on down. 25 HP at the beginning of the round now. As Wisla Kraków do not have the man advantage, but they certainly have the health advantage.
Thought we might see Red Star give that M4 over to Han, who still has full health, but keeping it in the hands of Red Star for now. He's going to play passive on the site while Han focuses the bathrooms. This is quite a common start for CTs on Overpass. Because a B rush is more likely than an A rush, they'll stack more players towards B at the start of the round, and then if it isn't that instant B aggression, you oftentimes see them rotate a third player back up to A to reinforce this site later on. And there is that M4 now, given over into the hands of the full health Han. And they're even going to re-aggress on the bathrooms, using the low health player as bait here. Oh, I like this.
Funky stuff in the bathroom.
You like to get funky in the bathroom, Dinko?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I hope Banks' food makes him funky in the bathroom later on, because, you know, I didn't get any. Goofy with a double kill. Han and Ships comes in, cleans up the defense, and now 3 players stand for Fiend. They're going to try and get a bomb plant here. Wisla Kraków will do that, no problem. In fact, whilst planting the bomb, they found another kill. So things are looking even better for the Polish side. And I think this is the perfect start coming into this Hawkeye. You know, finding the 5-0 lead, it couldn't have been better. You know, just settle the frustration, settle the nerves, get you focused in, get you in that zone. Because there is that does exist, right? When you get in the zone in Counter-Strike in particular, it happens in everything in life. But if you can get into that zone where you're just focused, callers, in particular Sparrow has made some great calls in this game. If he can just start to feel like everything he's doing is right, he can just get this read on the game right now. And it's up to Team Fiend to try and disrupt that.
And that's sometimes why it's worth taking timeouts, more even just to disrupt your opponents slightly. If they just keep on getting a good read and just keep on getting the right positions, and even just the players are just dialed in, sometimes it is worth that timeout. And when you're 5-0 down, that has to be a consideration. But Fiend happy to just go ahead and just go with this round where they finally got the double AWPs out. Yeah,
so you could trust in your what you've talked about before the game, because you've only had one gun round. And to be fair to them, it was a pretty wild, unpredictable round out of Wisla Kraków. Like a pace change towards B they weren't ready for. So I think they've still got to have faith in that pre-game chat that they had outside. Just focus on what's coming into this. If this gun round doesn't go well, you start to look at it. It's going to be 7-0 most likely. So yeah, a lot of pressure on the round up here for Fiend. Not a lot of info, not a lot of aggression coming out of them. They're going to be sitting back. They're just letting Wisla Kraków do whatever they want right now.
That small utility used by Wisla over towards B just baited out a lot of the Fiend utility. They used a couple of smokes, one towards the barrels just to keep himself safe from the molly, then one put in front of the barrels so that they couldn't push in. So that's a really good job at baiting out the utility early, and Fiend have even rotated plenty of players down to B in preparation for a potential fast push.
And that's exactly what we talk about when we want versatility out of them, right? Because it keeps Fiend guessing they can't just hold their nades, because they know you're coming to do a slow play, they can hold the utility, but if you've thrown a fast play in, if you set that precedent, then that's when you will have them have to gamble rotate, have to throw the utility down. And this allows an opening out towards long. Goofy did spot the head of the T-Stars player, but hasn't been able to find a kill.
Bomb's going B.
Yeah, Bomb is entering the B site, and they found Bubble. He was the only player on the B site, and now he's gone. Rotations have to come in, and Goofy's trying to catch them. He's trying to stop them from going down. He will get caught in a little bit of an awkward exchange in the smoke. They do find him, and it's still a 4v3. Fiend still have the advantage. Sparrow will try and fight from the side itself, but the kills from Dreamer and Red Star continue to fill the feed. And now it is just Yetka alone in a 1 versus 3. The AK in position, ready for the cross, but a 1 versus 3 clutch is just going to be so difficult. He found the first, plenty more to dig deep and find though. He's turned it into 1v1s, and just on the cross back, Han will land the shot. The round finally on the board for Fiend, but damn, it comes close again.
Solid retake from Fiend. All the pieces just working together like a machine there as they go ahead and get back into that B-bomb site. For Wisla, though, They took a long time when they had 30 seconds left there, figuring out exactly the play they wanted to make. Maybe they did make the call that they wanted to have that lurk out A and try and sell that A fake, but they left themselves very, very thinly spread across the map. So even as they get that kill on towards B, it's left in a scenario where they still have players on the flank, and once Fiend caught that flanking player out, that made a huge difference, because then they didn't have to be worried about that flank. They just had to focus on the players towards the site itself. Finally, Fiend on the board, and Harm was looking for a mid pick, but that flash will deny any early action. Double up setup both on A, for what it's worth. A lot of long-range angles you can play on that A side of the map, though.
Yeah, plenty. You can change it up pretty much every round, really, if you want to be versatile enough over on that side of the map. And this is certainly one of the positions that is solid up on top of those flower beds of that AWP. Red Star has actually decided to drop off of the angle. Wants to take a position on the right side. This is just back to the game plan that Wisla Kraków have been running throughout Dust 2 Inferno and now Overpass. The slow default, methodical, meticulous. Harn has a gap in the divider smoke, and they're ready. They knew that there was a gap there. They completely encroach in his position and swarm him together, eradicating him from the round. And 45 seconds left. Fiend haven't got enough control right now. They're having to just go, all right, based on what we know, can we rotate a player A, or is it going to be the B hit? And they just don't know, Hawker.
Thought we might see them take a gamble here and just save if they got the gamble wrong, but they're deciding to try and play both bomb sites. Shapiro's running up through mid. They don't have information on that, but now they're pushing Monster.
Okay, this could work though. Bubble about to find a 1v1 fight against Yetka. Molotov has gone in behind, so they're trying to sell out the fake, and he's actually got a kill on Dreamer. He's spamming through for the second, and Yetka gets the double. The B aggression does not work at all for Fiend. Red Star goes for the no-scope, and oh my god, this is just diving into madness. What is this? This round is just absolutely wild. It has everything apart from a Fiend victory. They're going to have to save in this one. Their chances will come in a later round. As 6 now locked in for the Bulls. Oh, Hawker. I see the idea on the monster aggression. The Molotov trying to bait it out. Just, Yetka's not falling for that.
Yeah, I think maybe just one straight bullet landed onto the player close, and I'm not sure if he saw blood or if he just heard that player. But either way, he clearly figured out that there was that player close by. Cool idea, not successful this time. Even though they had a pretty hefty stack on B, the bomb actually ended up going back to A with little time remaining. But at least Wisla got there in time with that bomb to win the round. And if they continue to play like this, we could absolutely see some rounds just fall due to time, because it is a dangerous game you're playing. It's one that is working out for them right now. And this is the unfortunate scenario for Fiend, where because they don't get the chance to save that many guns out of that round, probably has to be another half fight. This is the sort of round where I would love to see if we can get Ships getting in behind them. He's got the AK. This is a round where I'd love to see some of that aggression and maybe finding the weak spot. Ships is trying to see if he can take the action to them as he starts to get aggressive on mid. Oh, we heard that flash thrown behind him there. He heard Shapiro throw that, so they flash him in for the peek. Beautifully done.
Red Star's flash assist in this match has been another unsung hero for the team. You know, he's had impact individually, but the amount of impact flashes he's had so far has been great as well. Flash is coming through Monster. Dreamer, close position with the Deagle. Can have a lineup for a flash that lines in behind it, but I don't think they're in a position to be able to do it. And this is just starting to become a brawl. And with the better weapons, Wisla Kraków are always going to come out on top of that if you divulge it into just 1v1 fights. A minute left in this clock. Rotation has been made. It's the correct call for Fiend. They know it's going to be this B play, but can they make anything happen of it? The short play could certainly deliver some rewards, and there it goes. Ships has come through, and again, reminder, they are low in health here. PHR in particular, he still has hit a shot. Marcus goes down, and Fiend have won again on some lower tier weapons. Their second round picked up, and you can't afford to lose those.
Well, I called for the Ship's impact with the AK. He gets aggressive on mid, gets flashed in for that nice early kill. And then here on the retake, does good work too. The boost over the top, helping out for the early frag. And two of the players being so low on the T side made a huge difference there. Even the weaker weapons had a good chance of just landing a single shot finishing the job. So another low buy win for Fiend. They've been pretty good at finding those throughout this series. It's an important time for them to find it here on this map, because it was starting to spiral out of control. Now they'll be looking to build some success off the back of that, and here comes a built 4-man boost for Wisla. Oh, they're not going to be able to find a pick with it though. Fiend already crossed to the site. Get a similar idea here from Fiend. They stacked 4 heavily on B early. They took that early control to make sure it wasn't a fast rush. Now they will rotate a few more players back up to A. And they're even going to start aggressing on A towards long. So Fiend are really looking for information across the map right now. And with the slow playstyle, I think that's exactly how you want to be playing this here. You might be able to figure out where Wisla are going with low time left, and if you can just stall them, you can just win the round on time.
It's a good way of disrupting them. 55 seconds. Red Star is about to swing out long. Does he flash with it? To just peek dry, it looks
it's a
like.
Warning shot.
Yeah, it's like, don't do that again. A little slap on the wrist. Red Star held behind the flower bed. He does have his teammate. Maybe trying to pull them in, maybe trying to fake out there's only one player there, and then you have this double setup. Ships is playing anti-flash, so Red Star really is the sacrificial lamb. He goes around the corner. They're not going to check Ships. They're just not going to check him. Oh, he nearly whiffs. Luckily, able to recover the spray in time to put some bullets in the chest of Goofy. And now with 25 seconds left, this is the delay you were talking about.
They've got the rotate up to A. They've got Bubble on the bomb site who hasn't been cleared, and he could go for even more here. PHR doesn't want to fight alone, but they've got the kill on long.
PHR trying to fight 2 different angles. Now Marcos with the AWP. You just can't do that. And Yedko was held back, couldn't help out his teammate because of the Molotov. He was severed off from the push, and with 3 seconds left, he can't die after time. He has to run away. They're hunting after him. They know they've got him pinned in the corner, and this freeze time feels like a lifetime. They catch him just at the end, and Yedko will get no money. The rest of his team have cash to play with, but he's only got $2,200. That is not enough for a buy. He can maybe get a Tech 9, a Deagle out, but he is not looking down the barrel at a grip purchase here.
That can make a decent difference in this sort of scenario. And we were talking about whether Fiend should take a timeout earlier. Well, now it is Wisla who take a timeout here after losing a couple of rounds. I think they may have realized now that Fiend have adapted to that slow play style. Those drawn-out rounds are starting to be figured out. You also, on the Fiend side, have to be thinking about whether this is the time where Wisla will switch things up. Now that they've taken the pause, do you expect a fast play here? Do they know exactly what the money's like? Maybe they think the money is slightly worse than it actually is, when in fact the T's have got a pretty solid buy, aside from that one player that died after time. Even if Wisla did go for a fast B in one of these rounds, it wouldn't be effective because Fiend are always starting the rounds with just 4 CTs on B, ready to stop any potential rush. And then once it gets to the mid round, they just seem so comfortable that it's not going to be a quick B halfway through the round. They get a bit of early info, and they can just rotate players accordingly.
Resmoke to Monster. It's going to buy some extra time, stall any early play from Wisla. Luckily, they do have those 2 prongs holding out mid control. Now, if you are committed to B, not having these players in mid could be a big problem because you can concede so much map control. Because you have those mid players, there's not as much of a timer on this play, so they can just sit outside of B and Ships. He goes aggressive. He only manages 1, but they had a double setup. And a lot of what Fiend are doing right now seems insane, but there's always a protocol. There's always a contingency plan, and they have a player in behind as the insurance policy.
Heads up move from Spiro here, though, trying to just move into the A site while he can. It's 2 AWPs on the other side, though. It could be hard to win these fights.
Yeah, Spiro, he has been fantastic in the series so far, but really needs to crack open Harn immediately. Peeks into him. Lovely headshot. Get your gun out for the second. Knows there's a player on the stairs, and now he's really asking for his teammate. Where are you? I really need to back up right now. And Spiro's trying to lock down some space. Good spray control. Couldn't quite get it onto Bubble. And with 20 seconds, Yedko is in another one of these scenarios. Not a lot of time to play with. Not a lot of space to play with either. He's going to start coming out towards long, but they're just waiting for him. They're waiting for the B play. They're waiting for the A play. He'll give away his position now with that Molotov. It's gone to the wrong side. The bank player can push up. but they don't really want to risk the 1 versus 1 fights. You want to play this together. You don't want to give Yetko the chance to win the round. So they double up at bank. Yetko now starting to consider, have they pushed out? They're giving them a 1v1. Yetko's looking for the second player, and he's got the right read. He just couldn't take down Dreamer. Spacing off that for Fiend, but in the end, Dreamer pulls off the clutch. A round that barely goes in the way of the Bulgarians.
Could definitely be one of those scenarios where it's just miscommunication late in the day. Both players not quite on the same page. And it could have maybe been okay if Dreamer doesn't make steps afterwards, but he instantly gave away that he was that second player towards bank. Maybe if he just sneaks in, the player could have looked away, expecting them to push together. But when you make those steps, they know exactly where you are. Either way, it works out for Fiend. They scrape together the round win. 3 in a row now for the CTs. Not coming easy.
This first bullet accuracy was pretty bad too, so if they double swung him, he definitely dies immediately.
Sure.
Don't even think he gets a kill out of that. But 6-4 right now, Wisla Kraków. Do they run a fast B play? Ships has been good on the B monster. Not exactly the hold, but the proactive stinger plays. And he has caught out Yetker early at B, so likely a call. Maybe a quicker play into B with some of the weaker weapons here. Look at the rotation. Everybody's over here ready right now for the Bulgarian side. It's going to be difficult to fight their way out of this. Sparrow has got an AK. If there was a player to do it, it would have been him, but at this point, just PHR left alone. P250 versus 4. He has collected the first, but not winning this round, Hawk, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it really looks like Fiend have done a good job at keeping track of the economy there, because they just don't smoke Monster whatsoever. They just wide swing it, and if you think there's any chance there's an AK or an AWP holding that, you probably don't make that play, especially if you think the AWP's a possibility. So it looks like they were ready for the fact it was pistols. Get that early info, make sure that Monster is clear, and then that short push was always going to be difficult. Needed to get a kill out through Monster, which didn't come through. So Fiend right back in contention. No one-sided maps so far in this series. This one looks like it is going to be just as close. 1 round separating the 2 teams as Wisla get those AKs back out. The aggression again from Ships.
And it's different. It's very... He was B earlier, but now he is over towards Playground. Gets caught in the early kill. Marcos able to take him out. Dreamer did find the reply, but the boost over into B has found that response quite quickly here for Wisla. They are up early on this T side. They've got the man advantage, and there's still 1 minute and 20 seconds to play with. If Marcus finds this kill onto Harn, it might just be the round. When he's actually slipped him, he slipped the net. He's in behind. I don't know if he expects Harn to be here. Oh, Harn just spotted him. Easy kill. Harn will take that from behind. Timing works out perfectly for him.
And he has full control of that A side of the map now. He knows that if there was anyone else nearby, they may have traded, so these B players should be ready. You can already see Bubble fighting on the front foot to stop this B play from happening, but the flash is fantastic. Bubble has to commit, and Spiro wins the fight against him. Red Star does damage to both, but no kill found. And Harn only has the AWP here. He would love a molly kill, but it's not going to happen. Look at how low they all are, Dinko. Harn has more health than all of them combined. But I don't think he can go for it.
No, not with the AWP. You can't really consider a 1 versus 3 retake with an AWP and no utility. So save call has to be made. It is a frustrating one, especially because he has money personally, but that money is going to be used to spread it out across the team, right? You need to use that economy to get Red Star a gun, you know, get Dreamer a rifle, have some more utility available for Harn in the next round as well. And that's the decision that has to be made. And so Wisla Kraków, they are up on the board again. This game is not going to be an easy one for either side. Whoever comes out on top here will be extremely relieved to stay alive in this tournament. And for the team that leaves the tournament today, it's going to sting even more because of how hard they've got to fight for it. You know you're just on the brink. Just a few mistakes just cost you late in the day. That is what the storyline is going to be at the end of today. Both of these teams deserve to move through with how they're playing right now. And I think right now Fiend are definitely the team that are struggling the most for me. I think they're going to really struggle against this T side if they don't start making those ships plays work more often. And I don't really know if they're going to work more often.
They are at least trying to take some of that initiative in some of these rounds, which I think is a good way of going about it.
Yeah.
You're right. The effectiveness of those pushes has been limited. In some rounds, it has been good for them.
Hit or miss. I guess he never missed.
Oh dear. That's from ages
TikTok,
ago.
right?
Yeah, or like Is it an Overwatch thing?
I have no idea what it is, man.
I don't remember.
But it's probably from TikTok or something.
Probably.
So.
There you go. You're getting in on it.
Yeah.
Down with the kids.
Thank you, TikTok, for sponsoring this event. And Trowlon is losing his mind. 7-5. Wisla Kraków in the lead by 2 rounds, and a bye here for Team Fiend. A very important situation for them, and they don't have much utility, so they're going to fight for water control instead. And this is a crucially important part of the map to control, just because it's similar to Catwalk and Dust 2 where I was discussing earlier, right? If you have that control, it cuts off the options for splits and rotations in the final moments. It's a very crucial piece of map control to have.
This could finally be the round where Wisla start to do something earlier towards A, though. They haven't really realized in so many of these rounds that A has been so exposed. But this is one of the rounds they're just walking up. This is a great read from the T's here. They're going to walk into the site, and Red Star has no clue what's about to hit him. Easy kill. And Fiend trying to get back into the bomb site, but they may be locked out entirely.
A minute left, and now they look towards this retake scenario or save, and it's pretty easy which decision you have to make here. It is the save call as they drop back. They cancel their attempt in this one. And the save call locked in. 8 rounds now for Wisla Kraków. They've confirmed themselves at least the 1-round lead going into the second half. The Polish have shown up with a good T side here. And I think, you know, getting into the CT side, I thought Fiend were going to be a little bit more comfortable here, Hawker. You know, I thought this CT side is where they can disrupt the playstyle a lot easier of Wisla Kraków. You know, this team that loved to play slow, methodical Counter-Strike, Ships is the perfect player to stop that. He's the perfect player to get in your face and really cause problems, drop a few crucial pieces of utility. Because the game's going to be so scrappy, the economy game, you're not going to have a lot of utility anyway. So if you're losing players early in the rounds, there goes the plan of being methodical. And I don't think a lot of their aggressive plays have worked so far.
Hasn't been too effective. It was another round where they stacked B heavily for the early aggression there so that they could take that control, and well, they did so effectively. Wisla finally found the solution with the quick aggression up A. Red Star wasn't even watching. He was tucked in, and maybe he was tucked in because of that M4A1S gun barrel. Maybe he didn't want that poking out around the corner. Either way, he goes down, not even seeing the players that snuck up on him. Now it's Han's turn to solo play A early with this AWP. He has got Red Star now behind him in the bathrooms. But they haven't given too many opportunities on mid to this AWP. Han looking for him, and he finally finds one.
Yeah, a nice kill from Han, and that is one of the more aggressive, more proactive, active plays at the beginning of the round that's actually worked here for Team Fiend. They have protocols in place through the setup they've got here to deal with. Harn is in a position to get away with another one. He's got rifle support if they overrun him and try and overwhelm his position. This is a fantastic, cookie-cutter, perfect start to the round for Fiend, exactly as you would like it to go. And no reply yet from Wisla Kraków. No quick response, decisive response to even fight for map control early. You know you've got events set up on A. Do they go for the B hit? No, they've just slowed it down and they're walking back into what is going to be a slow walk out A from long, and PHR is going to try and take bathrooms control here from Yedker.
Marcos was making noise on long, but the Fiend players can't really reposition easily from the bathroom setup they have. They have a man on the site to watch long too, and that means that Red Star takes the initiative, dropping the bomb firmly in his hands now as he gets another kill and effectively guarantees this round.
Yeah, this is just a good round from Fiend from start to finish, right? You just see that setup initially for the AWP. He gets the opening kill, doesn't stick around too much, doesn't go for the repeat for the second kill. Drops back in the bathrooms, has the second player from Connector. Wisla Kraków didn't really use enough flashes to get the AWP off, didn't use the utility to dispel any of those common positions, didn't smoke front bathrooms, didn't molly divider. I mean, this is standard stuff you need to be doing, and you know, we talk about methodical play. If you want to get the AWP off that angle, that's what they're going to do now if they want to take bathrooms control. I think Team Fiend have set that precedent now that that's going to be a problem.
Last round of the half here, and see the T side after such a strong start has hit a bit of a wall in recent times, not getting too many recent round wins.
The Great Wall of Bulgaria.
A great wall indeed.
Here we go. Nade stack. Artillery towards the boost. It's a cool idea, but no one's boosting. And so Red Star will find PHR inside of Connector, assassinates him, chops off his head, throws it onto the floor. Aggressive and visual start to the round. But we head into the final stages of this first half, and Wisla Kraków, all of that enthusiasm we had, Hawker, you rightly pointed out, they've gone quiet.
They have. And the setup right now from Fiend is wild. Look at the stack. Up above and down below. Dreamer playing that same elevated position, which just always seems to catch people slightly off guard. It's a nice position to play.
I can't get into it, Hawk. I try. I just surf right back down, dude. I don't know what's wrong with me, but Ships and Bubble, 2 kills. Sparrow and Goofy both gone at the beginning of this one. It's now Marcus and Yetko trying to pull off what seems impossible at this point. They got to start moving their way up in towards the site. Molotov trying to clear out the back of Dice. Jump spot comes in from the AWP. But no opportunities really going the way of Wisla Kraków as they now open up the B site. There's a chance here. The bomb is there. Dreamer realizes, okay, B site's open. They come and be in the final seconds. They're giving a good go at this as they head into the last few seconds of the first half here on Overpass. Bombs down, swing out from Marcus, and it's all on Yetko. Is he going to do it? Low HP, 16 health points to play with. 4 Bulgarians to find. I've seen easier rounds for sure, and Yetko just can't even get one. It's 8-7. Yes, Wisla Kraków will lead the way, but they got their 8th round a long time ago, Hawker. That is a monstrous comeback coming through from Fiend. They are right back in the game now after a pretty slow start.
Yeah, they've come right back here. And it is anyone's game going into the second half of our decider map here in this elimination game. It is late in the day here in Budapest, but these teams have to stay 100% focused right now with that elimination on the line. Fiend just preparing themselves for the upcoming second half. Definitely adapted fairly well throughout that first. I think Fiend are probably okay with how that half has gone, all things considered. They managed to salvage things fairly well throughout that one. Very even kill distribution for Wisla, but here we go into the second half. Getting straight into the pistol. And, Wisla have stacked A, but it's a B play coming through real quick.
Yeah, it's going to be an open site here for Fiend to play with. It's a gamble, and that's sometimes, well, you know, going all in doesn't work out a lot of the time. The house always wins. Let's see if the house is Fiend, but they haven't put the bomb down just yet, and Sparrow's not going to allow it to go down safely. They have to go around the corner here if they want to plant the bomb, and luckily, they do have a lot of control of the B site. Yes, it will be the 5v5 retake, but this post plant, they've got a player into heaven. I don't know if they're going to be ready for Harn to be up there, and in fact, they are not. PHR goes down. What a strong post plant position they've now got at heaven. You have to worry about that constantly. The CTs are finding kills, yes, but Marcus is still worried about the Heaven play. You can see he can't help the team because he's so worried about Heaven, and that's Harn up here alone. He's now switched out to the USP, which is certainly better for the post plant, and that bomb, it's being diffused around the corner. He needs to peek. He needs to stop the defuse from happening, and he can't do it. Marcus with the headshot covers off Goofy, and the defuse comes in for the Wisla Kraków side. The retake is successful, and they will win the second half pistol.
Big impact from Marcos too, someone who has been somewhat quiet throughout this series, but he started to play pretty well here on Overpass. Now joint top of the board. It is an even kill distribution though for the Poles right now. That is now both pistol rounds won for Wisla here on this decider map. And over on the first half, they were able to come out to a 5-0 lead off the back of the pistol round win. Fiend made it close though, so an easy decision to go ahead and instantly force up into this round. And realistically, the buys are similar enough where you really cannot predict who's going to win this upcoming round all that easily. Already underway into this one. Ships is down to 10 health here as we got into the round slightly late. Apologies for that. But important force buy here to really dictate how this start of the second half will play out.
And force buys were the storyline on Inferno. Too many of them for both teams' liking. So they're going to be definitely having some stern words with each other outside. You know, we can't afford to lose too many of these rounds. Otherwise, we're going home. We're out of this competition. No one wants to go out last in this tournament, especially if you're number one seed. It'll be a disaster as Red Start takes down Yetkus. Sparrow comes in with the scout, in fact, for the reply. And a good shutdown here from Arcos on the double kill, chopping the legs through of Harn and Bubble so that they fall and topple as they crawl across the floor. It's the rest of the Wisla Kraków side to shut down the attack. The Fiend Force does not happen. When we look at the money again, this is that eco territory we're talking about when you see the Force loss.
Good rotations too there from the CTs, because if you concede a bomb plant, there's a very real chance that Fiend could just force straight back up. They would have got an extra $800 each, and they would have had a good amount of money to maybe continue to pile on the pressure. But instead now, you would hope they'd have a chance to breathe in this round, as it's only some upgraded pistols on the other side. So it's been a good start to this second half from Marcos too, and if he can continue that, once he gets that AWP out, be a real difference maker here. Spiro, he hasn't actually seen him. Harn somehow sneaks around the back.
Yeah, Harn gets in on the wrong side of Spiro. Maybe not the round to go for a play like that. You don't really need to be taking any risks in a round like this, Hulk. You know you're going up against barely anything. You should just sit back, use that range advantage, just make sure you clean it up, limit the casualties, don't drop too much money. Just keep it nice and clean, keep it solid. And it's now 10-7 as Wisla Kraków. We're down a player, but they do lead the way in the score. And when you look at this round, yeah, we can talk about the advantage they've lost, but you also have to consider they just have better weapons. They have that superiority when it comes to the rifles, but are they going to be able to deal with an aggressive B hit that's about to come through in the final seconds of this round? Here it comes from Fiend, flash over the top, it's good. Yedker stuck at barrels, he's going to be taken out immediately. Luckily Chips is found and Goofy's having a fantastic round. Goofy with the massive shutdown, another couple of kills for him. A 4K in the round, saving the day for his team likely here, but Dreamer has a dream. He wants to make it reality, a 1 versus 2 clutch. 28 seconds left as Dreamer starts to consider the options of where his opponents are. He had a chance for the 1v1 at Heaven. Just ahead shows though. And for that, a difficult shot to land. As Dreamer reconsiders how he has to play this. Limited time, immediate peak, and Marcos with 11. Wisla Kraków should not have come that close. And luckily, they have Goofy to hold on to the site.
I could see Dreamer had the idea that that player would be flanking the man he hadn't spotted, but didn't know if it was Monster or Short. Huge hold, though, as you pointed out. That quad kill was so important because they were playing it pretty passively and even dropping a smoke defensively here, Yedka, as they push into the bomb site. So
really
Goofy,
respectful.
Yeah, Goofy got left with everything to do. Just about manages to take it over the line for his team. 4-round lead now, starting to create some space, and if they win this gun round, they'll be putting themselves in a great position.
Same for Fiend now, though, because they did so much damage in the last round to the CT economy. You know, if you win this round, if you're on the T side, you break the CT's economy, right back in this. This game opens up completely. And for Wisla Kraków, even if they win this round, they realistically will only be happy if they win it convincingly with 4 players staying alive. 3 or 4. Because if they lose too many rifles, that opens up the chance for Fiend to go for the 4 spot and maybe just break them in the next round. So this is not an easy situation to be in. If you're Wisla Kraków right now, you've got a lot of focusing you have to do here. I think it begins with Marcos here in middle. Harn around the other side of Divider. Marcos is hunting him down. He's aware that the map control was early given to the T's, and they could have pushed up towards Divider. Harn has the iron goal. The scope is looking in. He knows he's got the kill, and Marcos is assassinated. Harn has opened up the A site. The bomb is outside of B right now, and 35 seconds left. Where did Fiend go with this?
Oh, this could cause so much panic. Harn's all the way up into the site. PHR just about gets the kill while standing in the flames, but it is going to be back to the B-bomb site, and it's only Yedka here to hold.
Yeah, Yedka has so much on his shoulders. Luckily, he's got strong shoulders. 1 kill for him. Not enough, really. Ships has come through, and that is not a comfortable situation for Wisla. 14 seconds left. Bomb crossing over. It will get to the site. The digits will get punched in. And now for Wisla, do they retake or do they save right now? There's no money in the bank. There's no utility at all for the retake scenario, but it is a 2 versus 2. It's too tantalizing of an option to try and go for this, to try and get back into the site. Red Star is the only player that really has the strongest position. He's down. His Dreamer has already got 1, and he finds the follow-up. 2 kills for Dreamer. The clutch is there in a 1v1. And it's Fiend that win the crucial gun round. The first of the second half is scrappy, and the CT economy is in the bin.
Couple of clutches from Dreamer in this series. That one could be a really important one as it puts Fiend in a position now where they can start to claim back some control. Look at the buy from Wisla. They fully invested on almost every player, and yet they have barely anything to show for it. So this is a brilliant opportunity for Fiend to put themselves in a position where double digits would be likely. Be almost certain. Spiro pushing in long with the scout. Somewhat dangerous position, considering they could sneak up on him from mid, but eventually he will decide it's time to fall back. Fiend slowly working on that connector control. Just making sure there aren't any players in those close cubbies with some annoying little pistols. A lot of angles you have to be worried about in connector.
From bathroom smoked, but I don't think Wisla Kraków really care right now. They are going for the B stack. They are making the right call. They're not into the B side just yet, the T side, but Fiend will eventually pop their way through. And it looks like it's about to come now. The contact play through Monster. It'll be explosive. We'll see if the CTs have enough players here to do something about it. Starting to clear out barrels. Some counter utility going in that CT smoke, trying to make it easier. And Goofy's got a double kill on the Deagle. And that might just give his team a chance. But the rest of them are dropping like flies. An electric swatter just comes on through. And the flies are down and out. Wisla Kraków still have a shot, but it's 2 scouts into this. They need some ridiculous mistakes to come in here from Fiend. I just don't see that happening right now. Fiend recover the chaos. If you're Wisla Kraków, Hawker, you really have to make that round happen when Goofy gets those 2 picks. You can't let the momentum die there. You have to just be in there, in the chaos, and be able to turn that into your round win.
Unfortunately, they weren't in the position to pull that off. So Fiend with 3 survivors. Go ahead and pull back yet another round here on this B side of the map. Solid take again, coming with pace for Fiend in towards the B-bomb site. It's a scenario where Wisla won't have much money, just the one saved scout. If you have just joined us, it's been a long old day of CS. Elimination games playing out here on our first day at V4. One of these teams will be gone by the end of this map.
Yeah, for us, it's only been 2 best of 3s, Hawker, but for everybody, the unsung heroes, from production to talent management to cameramen and everybody involved. So, shout out to everybody. It's been a long day, apart from Jan Spice, you know. Screw that guy. But everyone else, thank you for being here for the long day. Spice, you're refreshed. You've had a burger. You're fine. And here we are. Round 21. 11-9 right now. Wisla Kraków, they don't have much money. They do not have a lot to play with here. And for Fiend, it's the AKs, it's the MAC-10. There's no problems here for them. As long as they just don't walk into a stack, Hawker, everything should be good.
You never know when a team is just going to go wandering into a stack, though. Thinking it's a bit freer than it actually is. Fiend are focused on this B-bomb site, and I was wondering whether we'd see Fiend just consistently try and approach towards B, because it is easier to go for faster plays towards B. You don't need as much utility. There aren't as many long-range angles where the AWPs can put you in troublesome positions. Those are some good flashes over the top. Spiro was committed, but these players in water are done for. They get a couple of kills between them, but that's about as good as they could have hoped for.
Bomb down. Locked in. And PHR is looking for anybody to walk into his crosshair. If Han or Red Star peek into the scout, it's one shot. It's basically an AWP at this point. So for the T's, they realize, well, our money isn't exactly good either. So we don't want to give away any unnecessary kills. We're going to drop any weapons, force any rebuys. Dreamer can hang around, but the rest of them really do need to flee the scene so they don't go down to this bomb on the way out. Again, can't really afford to lose much. DHR maybe just hanging around, seeing if anything blows towards him. Be unlikely to blow up in towards heaven, but maybe there's a shot that blows down below him. And oh, he's so close to finding something, but can walk away with a rifle. Wisla Kraków in good spirits. Hawker, the fist bumps coming in. They realize, all right, it's been a long day, guys. You know, it's either we pull out socks, it's all for nothing, or we are able to pull it off now, and we stayed for another day of Counter-Strike. The days become easier tomorrow. It's only 2 best of 3s, so There is certainly some easier Counter-Strike ahead for the teams that prevail today. In terms of the amount they have to play. Maybe not the matches, they get more difficult as you go on. Yeah. I don't know if that's true in this stage of the tournament though, because we do have number 1 seed, number 2 seed, number 3 seed in the play-ins in the elimination games today.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of upsets have led to this, and that means maybe you would assume the winner of this would have a fairly comfortable time in the future, as long as they can play it to their best.
Yeah.
Sneaking up into the bathrooms this time, Fiend. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Just with the contact play.
You don't want to walk around the corner there. Harn just domes Sparrow. And Marcos, I can't blame him. He's like, I'm not going around that corner. I'm not doing that. PHR's even been found now, and Harn, he will finally go down. Marcos, he heard the bomb plant, but he couldn't quite deny. Gonna go down inside of the smoke, and now waiting on his teammate to 3 versus 4 retake attempt starting to come in from Fiend. They're trying to get the players back into battle. And Ship's coming out from long. This could be a play that could throw a spanner into the works. And he gets spotted. Yetko with a massive kill. That could be so impactful. But Bubble, the veteran of the side, coming around the backside. He's in a good position for the post plant. And it's all done. Wisla Kraków have 1 player left. And he's not going to be able to do too much about it. Goofy with 1 on the way out, but it's just a parting gift. 11-11 as we tie up the scoreline. The Poles are beginning to grind to a halt. The Bulgarians now take control.
Just comes from that contact play, just walking up for that initial fight. That's what allows them to get deep into the bomb site and push up aggressively. And this is where it might be important for Marcos as that AWPer to go ahead and step up for his team. If he's just holding angles with AWPs and they're just dry peeking him, he should be able to get a good amount of kills. So if he can position himself correctly, that could definitely be an effective way of stopping some of these plays. Especially because it seems as though Marcos is an AWPer who plays more on the more conservative side in general. We haven't seen him really take the fight too aggressively throughout this series so far. Not much doing for the Poles in this round. Doolies coming out for Yedka. M4 in the mix from PHR, but the other players alongside him haven't been able to get a great deal. Spiro playing up aggressively on long again. PHR also taking initiative with that M4, pushed into water, though he has taken some damage there in the process.
Is that a Sprout sticker on the dual Berettas?
Didn't see.
An E-League Sprout sticker. I think that was the event, one of the first events. They were called Sprout. I think before that they were called Seed.
They were called Seed for a while.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think Sprout would be a name I would get behind, but it's certainly better than Seed. And I guess it makes sense, so... They never really did evolve from much more of than a Sprout, though, did they?
They're just a Sprout forever.
Yeah.
Need to get them a better farmer.
Get them fertilized or something.
Yeah, exactly.
There were some seeds, but here we are, 50 seconds in play, and when you look at the pistols here, they shouldn't be able to do too much, but Goofy has started to come into play, and Sparrow has picked up an AK because of that towards long. So now there's another rifle in play for the CT side, and they have a man advantage. Maybe with 35 seconds left, chaos could start to happen here, Hawker. Here comes the play into B, straight down connector. They want to avoid the AK, but they're about to walk into the M4.
Could be a lineup. They don't clear it.
Oh,
Ship's
no.
unable to trade. PHR finally caught out, but 20 seconds remaining to try and salvage this round.
And it's all in the dualies. Here comes the Eagle down into B as well. They're going back up the connector. That's the bomb. It's about to be found by Sparrow coming right down the connector. Red Star's found him, and this round is done. They're saving this round. There's no time to get involved. That round is over. On the way out, it is shut down, and Wisla Kraków had nothing to play with. They had an A1S, they had pistols around it, and they walked right into the M4, perfectly placed outside of connector, and 2 crucial kills close out the final round attempt. And this is a Fiend tactical timeout, and you can see exactly why it is coming through here, Hawker. This is starting to get into territory where we're looking at Fiend maybe going home on day 1.
And this is the obvious question we have to ask when we see the early rounds that Fiend were winning, coming off the back of early kills and just early fights going in their favor. Do they have an ability to fall back and win rounds when they don't get that early fight to go their way? Wisla were winning some rounds where they were out-positioning or out-muscling Fiend on the bomb sites just with some executes and some good decision-making on the overall picture of the map. We've got to see if Fiend can do the same here, because sometimes you can't always just rely on those shots to land. Let's see if Fiend can bounce right back here, though. They were on a 4-win streak before that untimely loss. Up against the double AWP setup now. If we see the contact plays continue, they've got 2 snipers ready to just hold angles, try and stop those early plays from happening.
And it goes in towards the connector door, blowing that out so you can jump spot in towards it. But here comes the explosive play from Fiend. Is this the recovery mission needed from the last round? Ships has got a double, and he's finally taken out. But Red Star with a massive flick up. Yetkur decapitated. And that is the round done as well. It is cut short as Fiend find a way into the B site. Ships just with 2 brilliant entries. Follow-up kill from Red Star, and that is enough to end the round just where it stood.
And with that player jump peeking towards connector and short, maybe they weren't expecting someone to be so far pushed up. They certainly didn't seem to be aware of that being a possibility as that push came in towards the site. The fact that they let ships just get in like that makes it a little too easy for Fiend. These are the exact sort of rounds they like to play, where they just quickly rush into a bomb site using some simple but effective utility. Nice to see Ships leading the charge too. Again, fulfilling that aggressive role that he promised as the stand-in at this tournament. Gotta give Ships credit as the stand-in here. I think he's been doing a solid job so far.
Yeah.
A lot of aggressive plays, but I think that's kind of what you want from a stand-in to some extent, because it's a little easier to play around that. If you know that Ships is just going to be going aggressive, you can just try and back him up and work off the back of it.
And there's no way you want to tell them all of your strats as the rival team from Bulgaria.
That's true.
Here we go, guys. Yeah, this is exactly what we run against you guys. Is what works against Skade. You know, we're gonna run it here. You're not gonna do that. You're just gonna be a different game with Ships coming into this. And Ships will charge forward the Mac 10. He does get caught. Unable to follow up and yet go down and out. So far, it has been a bit of a nightmare round. A very important round here for Wisla Kraków, and they've lost 2 players. Save call likely on the cards again here. Both teams are giving it everything towards the end of the day. But that B site is starting to become a weakness now, Hawker.
Yeah, it might be time to put an AWP down towards that B side of the map and just kind of watch for any of these early aggressions. If you can manage to dodge some of those flashes over the top, could well be a way to get some easy early kills. Fiend feels though they may have found the way to win these rounds here on towards B. You never know when they're going to switch it up. Couple of AWPs look good to be saved. Oh, bit awkward. Arn dies to the bomb. It's all good though. They got money.
(13-12) as Fiend are now 3 away from eliminating Wisla Kraków on day 1 of the V4 Future Sports Festival. And if Team Fiend managed to do that, while they really have done it with their backs against the ropes time and time again, they have fought their way back through. They've got a stiff chin as they refuse to go down. Wisla Kraków certainly looked like, at portions of this game, the better fighter and the better side. But so far, Fiend have stayed in it. And sometimes that's enough to get the win here. PHR throwing a little bit of a curveball, some aggression, but he's been caught. No one's there to back him up. Didn't really seem that calculated, but now they're running into B. 3 players at the ready. They've got to hold this time. Goofy's come in with 1 kill. Yetkur up on top of the site. Kill for him on the Ships. And now 3 versus 3. Nice kill from Sparrow on the cross on over, and suddenly around for Wisla Kraków looks possible. They flick back, and it's the round. The polls are back, and it's 13-13. They tie it up again. This game will just keep on giving. Overtime is a real possibility, by the way, between these 2 sides with how this one's going.
Yeah, I like the switch up here. Finally, Wisla find a way around that B play. Instead of just trying to hold back from the bomb site, you have those players on short. I don't know if they needed to push all the way towards Monster. I think it might have been fine to just sit on short and use that as another position to fight towards the site, because that makes it really difficult for Fiend to just rush out onto the bomb site in the same way they were doing previously. But either way, having Spiro in position with that AWP there on short really helps them make sure the bomb can't just cross to the site. now we'll see whether that is a somewhat consistent setup from Wisla, because that felt like a round where they really did just adapt to the fact they were losing B so consistently. They threw a completely different look in there on their CT side, pushing all the way down connector, in towards B water, trying to even push towards Monster. So that felt like a different call in a round, but not one that I would expect to see consistently. We've still got to see if Wisla can win with their more passive setups.
Yeah. Did love how PHR's aggression, you know, if it works, he gets a kill, but if it doesn't, they think B's got a weakness. It's kind of a cool play in a way. Forces him into the B hit. It's lovely to see that coming through and working out. See this nade stack into barrels. Coming in from the Fiend side. No Molotov to clear it out. So they're going to set up a boost. I don't know if they're in a position right now that can be spotted by the boost, and now they are, but they're ready for it, and they're making sound cues. They know they can't go with that. That's no longer an option.
Oh, spam goes onto Jedka. Actually does a bit of damage. But as soon as you make sound there, you have to just get away from those walls, which are very bangable, Dinka.
Yeah, you want to bind those walls as much as you want, really. And, you know, a lot of teams now have perfected the lineups through the walls at every portion. You know, there's a protocol and a system, a little routine you run at the beginning of the round just to get water control. If you're playing aggressive on CT side and water, you have your own system, your own routine. But if you're not and you're conceding it, you can get the Molotov in. If the Molotov smoke, then you can spam through the wood.
This is slow.
So many cool things you can do with that.
Yeah, a lot of options on B, but it's back to A here for Fiend. 24 seconds. They haven't cleared out the bathroom. Spiro able to get an early kill, and he may call for the rotate any second.
Oh, wow. Red Star with the headshot comes in. Spiro down. And now 14 seconds left as the play into A comes through. The T's charging their way forward. Marcos holding on. And Red Star swinging into the open. Gets the lineup. Runs out of ammo on the final bullet as well that hit that shot. And Ships gets one in. Goofy, the only player left. And in the dying embers of this round, it is a play, an explosive one out of Fiend that shakes the bones of the Wisla Kraków side.
Red Star just getting so far up into the site there, able to cut off the rotate by lining up those two players. And Red Star has had a really good recovery and a really good step up in this game. I think early on this map, Red Star was struggling for a fair while, wasn't doing too well, but now he's towards the top of the board for his team. And it's another one of those scenarios where when they need someone to step up and make an impact play, Red Star is there to make the difference for them. At the end of the first half, he had the lowest ADR on the team. Here on the T side, he has had massive impact. Wisla are on the back foot. 20 kills now for Red Star. He only had 7 from the first half. Playing much better here. Hahn topping the charts again, just consistently putting up the numbers. It's feeling good for Fiend right now.
And the last LAN they played, Harn was actually one of the top-rated players at Intel Extreme Masters Fall. So clearly being able to transition his skills onto the LAN environment, which is really the diamond in the rough, really. You know, you want to find those kind of players in. They can grind you out of these situations. 14-13. Wisla Kraków have got to really hope that there's some sort of magic left in them, that they can pull off another one of these rounds, just one more of these low-buy magic rounds put together. They've had a lot of them so far in this game, and now the setup in water, the double swing out. PHR trids out Bubble, and now an AK into his hands.
Clearing out these bathrooms. Marcos is jump peeking. Smoke might help him buy some time. There's a flank coming in through connector as well.
And Goofy's around the backside. Oh my god, alright Dreamer. Turns around, hits an instantaneous headshot. And now the rest of the play starts to come through from Fiend. They charge their way through as they blitz the A site. As PHR looks on up. One for Horn and a second onto Ships. He's pulled this right back for the poles as we once again at an equilibrium. 45 seconds left. Sparrow, they're not ready for him. He's coming around the backside. They think this side is clear. He can peek from long. He can deny the plant. He can. He gets the shot off though. And it's all on Red Star. 1 versus 2. This is the round that equalizes the scoreline. And Red Star gets 15. What an absolute animal on the transfer over. And it's map point. Survival point for Team Fiend as they look to stay alive in the competition.
Red Star just keeps on going in this second half. He has had so many important impact rounds. Another one comes through here as he transfers back over just in time. And oh man, it was so close to the bomb plant denial. It was so close to a scenario where he couldn't even play for the post plant. He couldn't even play like that. But instead, they have to come to him. He makes the most of that fact. And now Fiend, after a fantastic T side, are just one away from the win in the series.
And it's quick from Bubble. Straight into water. Disrespects the Molotov with the smoke, and for Wisla Kraków, it has to be flawless in the next two. They have to pull it back just to get overtime. To stay alive in this competition, they'll have to win in an overtime fashion. Otherwise, the Polish will be eliminated entirely from this competition on day one. Marcos holds the bathroom. Another kill for him. 2 picked up. 14 rounds. Surely looming over them right now. Look at Fiend's Money Hawker. That's going to be the main talking point. Couple of players looking a little rough, but the majority still got cash. So next round, even if they lose this, they'll still have a bye.
This is what I was concerned about for Fiend with this contact-heavy style, just looking for solo fights sometimes in those bathrooms. If there's an AWP holding, it's going to be easy pickings. And you see Marcos at the start of this round, he hasn't had to work too hard for these kills. He's just been holding angles. Red Star peeks him initially from party. Ships tries to go up close.
It honestly looks like right now, Fiend don't know what to do. Like, they're just decided, what are we going to do here? And it might... I don't actually see an idea. It might just be a safe call at this point, but they're just hanging around. They're not doing a whole lot right now. Maybe waiting for Wisla to get aggressive into them. There's 25 seconds on this timer. It seems like the save call has been made. And this is going to be that utility that save over. 8K's AWP for Harn. Strahler's on the hunt, trying to find him. Too much money available for the CTs here either, so it's not like they can commit their resources to hunting down these players of Fiend. They would put themselves in a very difficult spot on that CT side with no cash. So it will have to be the save call, and it's allowed. Fiend will keep their rifles, they'll keep the AWP, but it's round 30. Of course it is. Last game of the day, we haven't had enough counter-strikes, so we're going again. It might just be overtime. Bonus rounds on the line here as well. Wisla Kraków do not want to go out of this tournament. Fiend, if they want to win it here, they've got to pick up this round. 16-14, and they can send Wisla home. On that bus, that premium economy bus that Kassad was talking about earlier.
Bus. Sure, they're excited for it, but they don't want to be thinking about that yet. They want to be coming through here in this final round of regulation. These two teams have played an overtime game on Overpass before, though. It's always close between them. Let's see who can step up at the most important moment. To control, taken by Fiend early. Also happy to sit back in this all-important round. It's coming into the side.
This time it's worked.
Beautiful.
This time it's worked. They've done it 3 times so far, and this time it pays off. PHR, though, with a spam. That's exactly what we were talking about in the previous round. The players are so good now at just getting that kill, that trade back through the wood. And that kill's pulled it back into a 4v4, but here comes the play into the B side. Ships catches PHR, setting up utility. He wasn't ready for it. And now, for the Fiend side, they might just turn their attentions back to A. Because they think it's going to be the B play, and the bomb is completely open. 2 players, in fact, at top mid right now. They could walk their way to the A site, and they would go there for free right now.
Oh, does Spiro hear those steps?
Oh my god, this could be a play. He's going to go back up in towards mid. And so that is going to allow the chance to go in towards this B site. 2 players currently waiting here for the defense. This is exactly what Wisla want. They want them to hit into the B site. This could be overtime now. Flashes, Molotov starting to come in, and the Polish hold on. Yedker playing from Water Pit. You've got the AWP of Marcos in behind him. Fiend have got onto the site though. And eventually they'll start punching those digits in. They know the bomb is down, and they have to consider the retake options. At this point, they have got the 3 players, and Marcos has started it. A short play, spotted by Harn. He's got one. Nearly flicks back, but can't do it, and it's all on Bubble. It's do or die. It's staying alive or going to overtime. As Bubble looks to line up 2. He's got 1. Oh, and he's done it! 2 kills for Bubble. He keeps Fiend in the tournament, and he sends Wisla Kraków packing out of the V4 Future Sports Festival. It's Bubble, the experience, and absolutely no emotion, as one would expect with the Bulgarian talker.
I think it's more just relief at this point that they're not going out on the first day. They would have come into this expected to do well. They are still here. They are still going. And Bubble was the player pushed into the B site for such a long time in that round. He was in that cubby for such a long time. He keeps his cool when his team need him most. The in-game leader pulling through for the squad. This was exactly the series I was expecting. So back and forth, so hard fought, but it is Fiend who come out on top.
And you look at Wisla Kraków as well. How disheartening is that going to be? That's the round you go out of the tournament on. You know, I think it's easier. You get banged out. You don't have to think about it. But that is just a situation where you're 2v1. You have a real shot at pulling it back to overtime. At points throughout this game, I think they looked like the better team. They played a lot of good Counter-Strike. And unfortunately, it's another Polish team taking an exit here. It's just an elimination for the Poles all day long.
We get the handshakes at the end after such a long game. You gotta give props to your opponent when it's been this damn close. Seriously, impressive for Fiend to hold on at the end there, because that T side, they did have to put a good streak together to get into that position, and just getting down to that clutch scenario at the end. A lot of B plays, a lot of successful plays onto that B bomb site. I think Wisla had some good showings and some good signs, especially that Dust too. Really enjoyed their T side, but all in all, just falling slightly flat, and that's what Counter-Strike can come down to.
Yeah, it's a disappointing finish to the day for all the Polish fans at home and their Polish teams here at V4, but Sinners and Fiend make their way through the lower bracket run. They stay alive for another day, at least here for the V4 Sports Festival. It's us done here on the casting booth. It's over to James and the guys in the desk to close out this long day of CS.
It was the long day of CS, Dinko and Hawker, but thank you very much for keeping us alive and kicking and keeping us awake throughout all of that craziness.
Really?
Yeah, not much to say.
Did they?
Pictures would tell otherwise, wouldn't they? You being people over here.
Yeah, quite the game for sure. I mean, I guess it's not surprising looking at the past between these two teams. It's going to be a 3-mapper, all the rounds. All the time in the rounds as well. Why not just go all out?
Yeah.
Only thing missing here is, of course, the overtime not coming into fruition thanks to Bubble clutching it out and there in the end.
Best friend. I'm really happy with him, you know, pulling out of the bag just when you need him to.
Yeah, very similar story what we saw here to Dust 2, right? Strong T sides on both teams. Obviously, some very capable riflers on both ends. On the A Ghost side, we had Goofy opening up the rounds, doing a piece of a lot of work on the A side with his entry frags, and then we go over to Fiend. Obviously, Restar put on a clinic on his T side, right? Just think of that A side play where he killed the guy coming out from long, immediately whipped over to Trash, took him down 1v2 easy clutch, you know. That is the type of performance you need from your riflers in close games like these.
Yeah, I think this kind of died down in the first half in the sense because Wisla had an awesome start to that T half.
Ridiculous starts.
Yeah, then they were also playing very versatile. We saw them actually change the tempo, just go for quick contact plays, find the right timings when the smoke was about to pop or it was about to fade. You know, solid pop flash, just plow through, get the bomb site straight away. And then just playing slow mind games further down into the half. But then it just kind of started crackling. I mean, we saw Ships doing his maneuvers, playing aggressive like I was predicting him to, and he's the kind of player that likes to do those plays. And I felt like it kind of slowed down the Wisla side a lot because they were afraid of the potential that there's going to be
CT. It was the back of your mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's only kind of two ways you can go about it. Either you're going to speed up your gameplay dramatically, where you try to take control straight away and don't give them any of that room to make those plays, or you slow down massively, and that's exactly what happened. And then you don't have that map control, let's say you've only managed to take short B control, you've got like less than 50 seconds on the clock, you don't know anything where the cities might be, you know, whether they be balloons still, maybe they're in toilets. That kind of limits your options at that point in time, right? You can't really do much anything else but hit that B bomb site, and then the cities already have all that intel, and they're going to stack the bomb site, and you're pretty much done already.
What we should take a look at, though, is one of these goofy plays we had a bit of enjoyment with, because this is one way you can educate the viewers here, Natu.
No, for sure. I mean, Goofy actually does make a really, really good play. As we look at the minimap, he does have a teammate there, but most of the attack is actually going towards that B bomb site. Now, he's managed to make his way all the way to the bomb site. He's going to be about to get a kill there towards the bank, as there's a kill going in towards the B bomb site. as rotations coming in. But here is where Goofy goofs up this situation. He would have been better off just disconnecting his USBs, not doing anything, just stay in that smoke and just be a presence.
Yeah.
Make sure that they already know you're there. You don't need to do anything. Just stay alive, let your teammates get the bomb down, and then you can either slowly flank it or you can just rotate all the way through connector into the B bomb side. But there's still always the back of the head of the CTs the possibility that there's a flank coming.
Yeah, keep them guessing.
Being a bit over ambitious, right? So he has found so much success earlier on the A side, opening up, getting multi-kills, and now a lot of players are very eager to get that highlight moment. And he heard the players rotating down, and he knew okay, there's potential for a huge spray down here. Obviously, the jump was a bit messed up. He gave away his position, and then from there on, obviously, since they knew he's there, easy flick on him for the op. Just bottled the round, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's look at this though, boys. With Fiend now going through, they can't play like that against the rest of the teams in here. It doesn't really matter who they face. Even if they face the loser of the next game that comes through, they've got to play a hell of a lot better than what we've seen.
Yeah, no, for sure. It hasn't been pretty for them. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt with the fact that they are playing with the standing in this tournament.
An asterisk.
Yeah, and I think they are playing with a player from their rival team. How much of their actual gameplay are they going to show? Yes, I'm sure Ships pretty much knows all the ins and outs of the way the Fiend does play. Definitely. So I'm not sure if that's much of a factor, but still, I mean, it's still they've played a handful of different maps. Let's see, if they have to stretch their map a little bit more, how's it all going to work out? But I think just from an individual perspective, they have the potential to pull through. Harn has shown some signs. If Red Star had a great series here, Dreamer showing some glimpses, clutching situations, and that's kind of his bread and butter too. So yeah, I mean, let's hope they keep improving and maybe we'll see them progress.
Do we have a schedule for tomorrow production? Do we have something we're going to throw out before we close out of it? Nope, just been told. All right, so we're just back tomorrow. But first game's at what, 12?
I believe it's 1.
1 o'clock.
Cool, so we'll be live at 12:30 then. There you go. I know the timings, I know what's going on. It's very late at night here. So we're going to get ourselves home and done. It's been a fantastic first day. It's been seeing 2 teams get eliminated. It's seen a crazy best of ones and plenty of upsets and games we didn't expect. So you can expect more of that coming, plus some really big, heavy-hitting teams come in. Not to play tomorrow, but at least come and check out Budapest to start things off with. Natu, Dralon, thank you very much for whatever the hell this was across the day. Dingo, Hawker, just entertainment, funny phrases, they also lose their minds, Huh?
No burgers for them though.
Oh yeah, they didn't get any burgers, poor boys, unlucky. We'll buy them some burgers tomorrow, we'll make up for it. It's on Natu. Natu will pay, Daddy Natu, Father's Day and all that. Did you have a good Father's Day?
Yeah, I mean, relatively, considering everything.
Relatively at the end of that. Well, if you are still hanging with us, you are still watching, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll see you then.